Thank you very much, Jonas. Thank you very much, Natalie, Carlota. It is a pleasure to see so many people connected here. In the next minutes, as my colleagues have said, I will try to present to you the urban agenda for the EU in a bit more details. I will try not to repeat too much what was already said, but I will explain in more details. And I want to start by underlining that this is a unique initiative which I had the honor to observe from the first moment of in inception, from the moment it was created. Then I had the pleasure to participate in 2 partnerships as a member, like what you might become if you apply. And lastly, since 2022, I have the pleasure to lead from the side of the European Urban Initiative, the development of this, of course, on behalf and close cooperation with the Commission. With that said, I will start by emphasizing that the discussion about an urban agenda in the European Union at that time is dating back to the 90s. This is the moment where the ideas started to come together and people discussed that there is a need for it. We don't need to remember the names, but I would like to emphasize what is the foundation of this initiative. So the most important document that defines what it is and how it functions is the Pact of Amsterdam. This document was put forward during the Dutch presidency in 2016. And after it, there were 2 other documents that complement a bit and go a step further to explain how to develop it. This is the Ljubljana Agreement from 2021. And after that, the Gijón Declaration from last year, 2023. I would also like to emphasize that in terms of European policy, those 3 foundations are strongly linked with the beautiful document of the new Leipzig Charter and the Territorial Agenda 2030, which have been put forward during the German presidency. As very nicely my colleague Carlota was saying from the Commission side, indeed, Urban Agenda is an informal intergovernmental cooperation, and it's a working method which has at the core multi-stakeholder and multi-level cooperation. And in this setting, as the Pact of Amsterdam show us, cities are at the core of the discussion. They sit together on equal basis with member states, European Commission institution, European institution, and so on. But you will ask yourself maybe why? Why was it needed for such a thing? Well, the answer is simple. 70% of the European Union legislation is implemented at local levels, specifically by cities and regions. And this is a strong argument why this initiative tries to contribute to a more urban-friendly EU policy, a place where cities can contribute directly. If we look specifically at the objective, those are threefold, and they are defined as, first of all, realize the full potential of urban areas, establish an integrated approach and contribute to the territorial cohesion, and thirdly, involve urban authorities and the design of the policy. Again, and to summarize, Urban Agenda for the EU is designed to strengthen the role of cities in the EU policy, making and fostering collaboration between different levels of governance and stakeholders. To do that, they have been decided and clarified 3 pillars, which are better regulation, better funding, and better knowledge. Those are the directions where all the actions defined in the action plans, which I will talk later, are trying to contribute to. And to explain that, I will go and talk about the thematic partnership. What are these thematic partnerships? Well, thematic partnerships are literally the driving mechanism of the urban agenda. They are the force behind and the way that we work inside this complex initiative. Since its beginning, have been already established and did their work 18 partnerships. 3 of these, which have started long ago, still continue their work today independently. This is inclusion of migrants and refugees, the Partnership on Public Procurement, and Culture Heritage Partnership. More recently, the European Urban Initiative had the pleasure to launch 4 others. 2022, we did Greening Cities and Sustainable Tourism, and Food and Cities of Equalities have been launched last autumn, and they are already working. And of course, today we are looking forward to talk about 2 new topics, and the experts will go in details for that. I have mentioned that it's a space of equal participation, but who exactly sits around this digital and real round table? Well, we have European Union institutions, we have member states, we have regions, and I know many of you ask about this. We have cities, of course, again, at the center of this framework, and we have other types of organization depending on the specific needs. With that said, let me guide you further in how the work is and roles are structured. In order to make this efficient and effective, it was in time reach a very efficient structure. That means there is at least 1 coordinator established. Most of the times the conclusion is to have 2 to help each other. After that, they are partners that organize gradually in the process of working in working groups and then actions, and they always have a leader. And of course, there is the intention to have exchange between all that. It might be already sounding like a lot of element to consider, but do not get scared. We, from the Permanent Secretary, European Urban Initiative, are here on behalf of the European Commission to support you in all this process. And we put forward services to make your life easy and to make it possible for you to focus on the content and less on the administrative aspects. For that, you will have on your right side always a thematic partnership officer, and when needed and justified, we can put forward an external expert or several external experts to support you with technical aspects. All of this is covered financially by us in the process. To make it even more clear and detailed, the coordinators, in terms of their role, the coordinator will look towards thematic and strategic direction of the partnership, and to make sure that the cooperation and dynamics inside the partnership are positive and constructive. Then the action leaders will take and define the thematic direction of the working group and actions, of course, in a co-design and co-implementation process. And then partners will contribute to the thematic role, and they could also decide to host events, for example. From our side, the Secretariat is always there to secure the support service packages, which are already defined and implemented, and to secure the operational direction and principle of how this work could be effectively done. For that, we already have an entire infrastructure in place that it's ready to go when you will start your work. The thematic partnership officer will assist you and guide the organizational and administrative support. This is a day-to-day support, so they will always be trying to be reactive to your needs. And again, the external expert we can hire when you need it to contribute technical knowledge. Going further, I want to emphasize beyond this very abstract way of structuring, they are people. They are experts, passionate about the topic, people that put their soul to improve things on the ground by cooperating European level. We meet digitally when needed, and that happens most of the times once per month. We meet in person when needed in different locations. That could happen on average around twice per year, depending on the partnership and their speed. We work in small groups, really hands-on, pen and paper, post-its, and debate and reflect on all possible ideas. We work in bigger groups when needed. We come together with several partnerships and debate in bigger settings. And when needed and justified, we go on the ground, analyze issues, reflect on opportunities, and see, tackle things from bottom up. Going further, I think it's justified to explain you a bit what to expect in this journey. What is the process? Well, today and in this period, we are in the call for applications. We have received this application. As soon as these are analyzed, the partnership is decided, the work will start for the members of the partnership. And that will happen in several phases. In the first phase, it will be an orientation phase in which you will try in a paper, in an orientation paper, to put together the most important ideas and subtopics you want to work on, based on your knowledge, your experience, your interest, and the mandate of your organization. That will gradually transform in reflection of what actions you would like to do and implement in this partnership. All of this will put together and try to be glued, integrated in a draft action plan, which, to secure that is of high quality, will receive feedback from many institutions. We're there to help you with that. And later it will be concluded in a final format. And of course, the aim is not just to define an action plan, is to implement all the action. For that, an implementation process will start, and we are there to monitor it and evaluate it together with you. How much time this should take? Well, according to the recommendation and the free experience, it is ideal to have it in 3 years, but because we know that reality is much more complex, there is the possibility to extend it twice, each time for 1 year. So the actual work is between 3 and 5 years. After that, some partnerships continue under their own the implementation. And to make that a bit more concrete and real to what happens now, there are 2 partnerships that are currently transforming their draft action plan in a final format. This is the partnership on greening cities. I would invite you to have a look at their actions and their work to get an idea of what the actions could be and how this could be developed. And I would just like to mention one. For example, Action 3, which refers to reaching meaningful urban greening targets. And the history of this is linked to the recent approval of the nature restoration law by the Commission. And in this partnership, they would like to go in detail and clarify some of the aspects in order to have a clear guidance on how cities, for example, will need to implement this new law. There's a second partnership doing the same work, that is sustainable tourism. All of this is present on our website. Go there, explore. It's an excellent inspiration to know what can happen soon. And I would also like to explain, and I know this was mentioned by some of you in the registration, some of the benefit of participation in this initiative. So first of all, you have the unique opportunity to contribute to shaping EU policy in a recognized and structured way. Again, as I mentioned at the beginning, cities have been historically implementing a lot of the legislation, but they didn't really have a direct participation at this level. This format offers the unique and very rare chance to do that. Secondly, this initiative proved to be an excellent launchpad for funding opportunities. That means that cooperating here, being visible and working together, proved to be useful for new application of projects that could also end up with additional funding. And I want to give an example of how the Commission tried in the past to align this. For example, several of the topics of the urban agenda had become subjects for innovative action projects. That was also before, but also more recently. For example, after the launch of the Urban Agenda Partnership on Greening Cities and Sustainable Tourism, the European Urban Initiative had a call open on this topic for innovative actions, which are real consistent funding for that. Going further, I will mention that it's an excellent visibility and recognition that you gain by participating at this level and with all the multi-stakeholders in the same time. Fourth, it contributes excellently to improve governance, and that helps you in basically ending up with better EU policies that you will need to implement in the future. It's an excellent networking collaboration. It offers the chance to reflect on solutions that you face locally, but with input from and experience from all around Europe. And as I said, it's a European-wide reflection, which allows us to better integrate work inside the European Union and European countries. And of course, like already you might know, it's an excellent knowledge exchange where you also gain information about good study cases. With that, I will want to emphasize a bit in more details how can we help you there. We have put forward, as I mentioned, an entire support service package, which comprises everything that we consider necessary for you to have a good and easy implementation. Today, I will talk about the most important, that is administrative support, travel and accommodation for urban authorities, provision of expertise, so external experts, and very shortly to mention, initiation phase, so the service to support you at the beginning, communication dissemination, and creation of synergies. Let me take it step by step, but I will focus today mainly on the third three. If you have questions and you would like more information, don't hesitate to put them in a couple of minutes and we will address them one by one. Furthermore, before I go on, I emphasize all of this is described in a fact sheet, which is publicly available on the website. You can download, read, and you can have a clear understanding what to expect from our side. To start with, in terms of administrative support, we concluded that it's good to have a thematic partnership officer who is tasked to assist and guide the thematic partnership, mainly the coordinators, with the key organizational and administrative activities and tasks. This person will focus on the day-to-day work and the operational functioning, and is predominantly administrative and technical support. That means that everything related to infrastructure, arranging meetings, preparation is done by them, so you have time to think on the topic and how can you make a real impact. The second element is travel and accommodation support. And this, to make it clear, it is a financial support we are able and happy to offer for you for two situations. We offer this to actively participate in the Urban Agenda Thematic Partnership in-person meetings, and this is to compensate for their limited resources. And secondly, that is to actively participate in the coordinators and action leaders in-person meeting, a specific group and meeting that we organize, or other events where we or the European Commission consider is valuable you to be present, and then we will invite you for that. For this travel and accommodation, based on the information from the Ljubljana Agreement, we have some eligibility criteria. So that entity needs to be an urban authority or an association of grouping of urban authorities with a legal status of organized agglomeration and composed by local administrative units. This is allowing basically different formats to be there. For example, in some cases it could be metropolitan areas. Furthermore, what is also important is that the maximum population is of 500,000 inhabitants. And of course, you might question why this context and these limits. Well, those are existing there because the Ljubljana Agreement emphasizes that we should support small and medium-sized cities. So this is why we have the mandate for this and not more for the moment. I will go on and also explain the provision of expertise service, Shortly, as mentioned, this means that we will be able to hire for you on your behalf an external expert. We offer up to 70 senior expert days per year, depending on the needs of your partnership. Furthermore, this is available to provide specific knowledge, know-how, expertise, or to produce a very specific output. And this is to be offered when internally you are not already having this resource available. From our experience, this number, it's more than enough. So far, partnership have managed to do a lot on their own. Lastly, very shortly, initiation phase refers to the fact that when you arrive and start your program, we are there to introduce you to all the infrastructure, processes, and key steps. We have an excellent platform and system of communication dissemination, which we manage, and we are there to make synergy on your behalf and in your interest between different urban agenda partnership and different institutions. For this, I don't go more in details. And now I will give the space to my colleague Jonas to continue the moderation, and it's the right moment to listen to your specific questions that you might have. So Jonas, your floor is yours.